DreAllDay.com.
What up, everybody? Dre Baldwin with DreAllDay.com. Today's topic is getting yourself in the damn game. And the three things I'm going to tell you about this, I'm going to explain what this topic means. The three things I'm going to tell you about is being active, going where it's at, and doing what you can do. But when I say getting in the game, yes, this can apply to, of course, playing sports. Those of you who are athletes, you want to get on a certain team, get into a certain league. Those of you who are not athletes, or maybe you are, but outside of the sports realm, you just want to be more active in a certain environment. You want people to know who you are. You want to get your product, your name, your service, your brand, whatever you do, whatever you're representing, you want to get it out there so people are talking about it, people respect it, people can engage with it, whether that's watching your video, buying your product, coming to your event, whatever you have going on, just knowing what you're doing, knowing that your entity exists. Getting yourself in the damn game is what I'm talking about here today. So if you find yourself on the outside looking in of some field or group or community or fill in the blank, and you want to get in, you're trying to figure out, how do I get in? You got to make sure, first of all, that you're checking yourself against these three principles that I'm sharing here in this video. The first one is you got to be active. Being active means, all right, if you want people to know who you are, as far as you're an athlete, and you want people in your city, you move to a new town, you want them to know that you can play, you got to be going to the gym. And if the gym you're going to, it ain't no ball players there, then go to a different gym. There's no players there, then go to a park. There's no players there, go to a different one, and keep going until you find them. Because I guarantee you that community exists. If you haven't found it yet, it's because you haven't gone to the place where it's going on yet. So you got to be active, right? Not just sitting home saying, I wish people would come to me and want me. I was talking to a person who was a personal trainer, right? And they were saying, of course, and I asked them, what's going on in your business? I said, of course, I want more clients, because I got a few clients, but if this client goes out of town, or this client gets sick, or this client got to go, take care of their mom in a different city, so they're not around anymore, now I'm losing my money. Now I got a problem with money because my clients are gone. So I'm like, all right, well, how you going to get more clients? And they're like, well, I wish people would just come to me. I wish people would just call me or approach me when I'm training somebody, or they, I don't know, see me in the streets or knock on my fucking door. I don't know how they expected to get more clients, but they just wanted all the clients to come to them. That's what they said. I just wish people would come to me. And sometimes I talk to people who do service-based businesses, like they have their coach or their consultant or some kind of agency that they run where they have clients. And I say, well, how do you get new business? Or their challenge that we're talking about it because they're saying, I want more money, I want to make more money, have more business. I say, well, how do you get business now? And they say, well, it's all about referral. People come to me. And people say that usually when they're getting a lot of referrals and it's working, right? But then as soon as those referrals are drying up and it's not really producing business, they're like, damn, how am I going to get more business? I don't like cold calling. I don't like going and trying to get clients. I don't like trying to hunt people down and making prospects of them and all the follow up and all that. They don't like doing that. Well, listen. If you want people to know about your business, first thing, you got to be willing to do that. You got to be willing to get active and get out there and have people know your name, putting yourself out there, which means you're running the risk of being rejected, ignored, ridiculed, not closing the deal, or whatever you want to call it. That's part of putting yourself out there. You got to be willing to do that to get in the game and to stay in the game. Number two, this goes hand in hand with point number one, as always, is you got to go to where the living is at. You got to go to where it's at. I once heard this dude, y'all, I don't know if y'all remember the M1 mixtape back in like the early 2000s, when the mixtape actually came out in the 90s, but the early 2000s they did the TV shows on ESPN and all that. And one of the players, I remember they was touring around the country and playing the pickup, and then they played the games in all these cities. And there was a dude in like some small city, I don't remember what city it was, but dude was on there, not an M1 player, but a player who wanted to play with M1, was just talking all this shit about how he's this, how he's that, and how he might be better than this guy or that guy from the M1 team. And one of the dudes from the M1 team, he was from New York. That's where the whole mixtape thing started, because the street ball scene in New York, before street ball was even a phrase that everybody was saying, it was going on in New York. And this dude from the M1 team who was from New York, he was like, yo, dudes be out here talking like they be killing it in their city where they live. And then, you be busting some dude ass who work at Taco Bell as a manager. And then you talking about you nice because you beating him every single day in your city. Like, yo, if you want to call yourself something in street ball, you got to come to where the street ball is at. And that's in New York. That's where it started. All this street ball shit started with us. Now, of course, street ball has expanded now in 2019 when I'm making this video. But the point that he was making then was correct. And the point that I'm making now is, if you want people to know you for something or in a certain community or something, you got to go to where they at. Like, you can't just hope that everybody comes to you. Listen, If I'm running I'm a professional speaker, right? And I'm not saying if, but I am. If I want to do more speaking engagements, I can't just sit home like, damn, I wish somebody would call my fucking phone. I wish somebody would email me. I wish a bunch of people would find my website or learn about my book, or, you know, just randomly hear about me through the ether, or some bird will land on the windowsill and tell them, yo, Dre Baldwin, Dre all day. I got to go and call them. I got to make the phone calls. I got to send the emails. I got to go and be on somebody else's podcast, get on somebody else's YouTube channel, write a blog post, get on whatever social platform where people are at, and, you know, put my message out there, whatever I want to do. If I want people to know about me, yes, I'm gonna put my stuff out there, but I got to put it out there to where people can find it. I got to go to where people are already at if they're not coming to me, or whatever method that I want to use. But I want people to know about me who don't know about me right now. They're not engaging, and I want them to start engaging. I got to do things that get their attention where they are at right now. And that's what a lot of people fail to do, not because they don't understand it, because they're just not willing to do it. They're not willing to do that work. They're not willing to put that energy out. And sometimes you don't get anything back from it. You might make 10 calls and only get 2 answers. And the 2 answers, only one of them even interested in hearing you. And that one don't even call you back after the first conversation. But that's the investment that you have to make in putting yourself out there. Now, the better you get at identifying where it's at, and the better your product is, whatever your product being, you, your game, your product, your service, your podcast, whatever, the better responses you'll start getting. But you got to be willing to put that work in. And number 3, so what we're talking about here, before I even get into point number 3, what we're talking about here is getting yourself in the damn game. And the last thing that you need to understand, doing what you can do. Because right now, maybe you don't have the connections or the money, or you're not in the right location, quote unquote, right location, to where you're going to be around all the best people, or where you can get the right person who you really want to know about. You can't really get them to pay attention to you right now. And oftentimes people use that as an excuse or a reason to give up. Like, all right, well, I can't get anybody to pay attention to me. Nobody really knows my name. Nobody's watching me. I'm trying to put myself out there, but nobody's really listening. I did all these YouTube videos. Nobody's watching. I did a podcast. Nobody's downloading it. I did no tweets, and I'm not getting any retweets. I'm on Instagram. I ain't got no followers. Do what you can do. And people use those as a reason as excuses to quit. I'm telling you to do what you can do. If all you got is, you know, an Instagram profile and you got 20 followers, you know, give your 20 followers the best of you that you can possibly give them. If you got a YouTube and you're only getting, you know, X number of subscribers or views or whatever it is you want that you consider to be success, give the best that you got to that little tiny bit of people, whatever you think is a small amount. Give the best that you can to those people. Look, you might be good just dealing with those people if that's what it ends up being in the long run. But those people, if you're giving your best, one of them is going to tell somebody else, and one of them is going to tell somebody else, and one of them is going to tell somebody else, and then it will grow from the inside out. It's not always go to the outside, somebody who never heard of you, and draw them in. Sometimes it's just giving your best to the people who do know who you are, who are bought into what you're doing, and let them attract the rest of the crowd on their own. So it's not always outside in, sometimes it's inside out. But the key point that I'm making here is do what you can do. Work with what you've got. If all you got is this and somebody else got all this, so what? You ain't got all that. So stop bitching and complaining about it and just do what you can with what you got. And a lot of people fail to do that in life because we spend so much time looking around, like, look what they got, look what she did, look what he's saying, look how much he's making, and then we stop focusing on ourselves. And all the time we're not focusing on ourselves, I'm gonna give you a little secret. When you're not focusing on you, nobody is, because ain't nobody else looking around at you as much as you're looking around at them. The people that's really doing it and making it happen that you may compare yourself to, consciously or unconsciously, they got there by paying attention to what they were doing, not by looking at you, not by trying to mimic you or copy you or compare themselves to you or make themselves feel bad because it was somebody doing it bigger than them. Listen, there's somebody out there doing it bigger than everybody else out there. All right, there's never going to be one person who's just doing it bigger than everybody in every area. All right, everybody can be beat in some way, shape, or form. So if you're looking at it that way, you'll always feel inferior. But if you feel inferior or even superior, it's because you're looking at other people instead of focusing on you. And that's every minute you spend doing that is a minute you're not making yourself better. So let's recap these 3 points, which is getting yourself in the damn game. Number 1, be active. Do things to get yourself seen, heard, and known. You can't just sit around waiting for it or expecting it to happen. You ain't doing nothing. Number 2, go where it's at. While you're being active and putting yourself out there, put yourself out there in places where you can be seen by the people you want to be seen by, who have what you want. And number 3, do what you can. Don't make excuses about what you don't have, who you don't know, who's not going to help you out. Focus on what you can do in the situation that you are in. Maximize that, and eventually that'll become a bigger opportunity if you focus on it and maximize it. Stop looking around what everybody else is doing. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com. My book, Work on Your Game, Using the Pro Athlete Mindset to Dominate in Business, Sports, and Life, is available now where all books are sold, physical, digital, and of course the audiobook, 100% done by me. You have learned from these philosophies, the mental game, business, sports, life, anything you do, this is the book for you. Go get it now and work on your game. Dre all day.